Good afternoon, everyone. It's time for Strat-O-Matic Baseball. Steve Aquilong here. And there's Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey. Pleasure to have you here, sir. We got a ball game today. Cincinnati Reds at Philadelphia Phillies. A couple of right-handers on the mound. Jim Maloney for Cincinnati. Ray Culp for the Phillies. Both were fine pitchers. Unfortunately for Culp, or I should say unfortunately for our replay, this was the worst season of Culp's career. He had fallen into Gene Mauch's doghouse, which apparently could be rather large at times. It's funny, as a kid, I had almost a superstitious awe of Gene Mauch from what I read at the time, and the research I've done lately. He was a complex guy. He had a lot of people in and out of his doghouse. Culp was the guy he skipped in that 1964 pennant run when he decided to shorten up to a three-man rotation. And then one of the catchers said it was Dalrymple. He believed that Mauch had a vendetta against Culp. He said Gene wouldn't pitch Ray because he gained 10 pounds during the season, and Mauch was a bitch about gaining weight. His words, not mine. Maloney, he pitched with arm problems for a lot of his career, but he had some great seasons for the Cincinnati Reds. Eventually, he tore his Achilles tendon trying to beat out a hit to first base, and that was what ended his career early. He was done by the age of 31. So, Culp, 5.04. Like I said, his worst year. Maloney, a fine year. 216 Ks in 225 innings, 2.80 in real life. Maloney was a very hard thrower. Hank Aaron once said he was one of the hardest throwers he'd ever faced. Exactly. Yeah, when he went to the three-man rotation. Mauch was trying to hold on to the lead, eventually blew. The Phillies had a big lead. Ended up the collapse of the Phillies, the great Philly collapse, I guess it's known as. And part of that was Mauch, desperate to hang on, decided to go to a three-man rotation. It didn't work. Here's the lineups now for Cincinnati. Tommy Harper will play center field and lead off. Pete Rose will be at third base today, batting second. Vada Pinson, a favorite of mine, will be in right field, batting third. Gordy Coleman will play first base and hit cleanup. Darren Johnson will be in left field, batting fifth. Don Pavletic will do the catching and hit sixth. Leo Cardenas at short, bats seventh. Tommy Helms, slick fielding second baseman, hits eighth. And Maloney hits ninth. For the Phillies, it's going to be John Briggs in center field today, hitting leadoff. Dick Allen plays third base and bats second. Bill White bats third and plays first. Bill White is currently the National League RBI leader in the replay with 7. Johnny Callison will hit cleanup and play right field. John Hernstein, represented here by the nameless card, will play left field and bat fifth. Clay Dalrymple, the catcher, we just spoke about him. He's going to bat sixth. Cookie Rojas at second base, bat seventh. I remember Rojas more with the Kansas City Royals, but he's a Philly in 66. Bobby Wine, another slick fielding, light hitting middle infielder, will play shortstop and hit eighth, with Ray Culp, of course, batting ninth. And sure, DJ, absolutely. So we're about ready to get underway here. I've got some coffee, the last of the coffee. I've been trying to cut my coffee off at 1 p.m., but I'm going to push it a little further today. I've been switching to herbal tea at 1. I'm finding I'm sleeping a little bit better. Still getting over a touch of the bronchial crud, but getting better every day, so that's a good thing. Okay, we're about set to get underway here in this one. Culp's completed his warm-ups as Tommy Harper steps in from the right side. Culp gets his sign from Dalrymple, and here's the first pitch of the game. And that's going to be a 5-9 to the right-hander, and he strikes him out. So Culp not wasting any time here, fans Harper, and there's one down. And here's Pete Rose. Switch hitter, of course, hitting lefty. Culp winds and deals. Here's the pitch to Rose. 5-4 to the left-hander. That's going to be a grounder to third base X. That'll be Dick Allen. Allen, a 3-E-16. And here's the roll on the play. On a 3, that's going to get by for a single, so Allen can't get a glove on it. That'll be ruled a base hit. And Rose is aboard. Rose has wheels. No threat to steal, however. Fine base runner. You could really say an aggressive base runner. And Jeffrey's for the fills. All right. Well, I know he'll be for the fills on this coming Tuesday. And more on that later. Okay, man on first, one down. Here's Vada Pinson now. Left-handed batter, marvelous ball player. Here's Culp from the stretch. On a 3-7, that's going to be a base hit into right field, an open single. Rose can try to advance on that. The right fielder is Callison, however, a -4. Rose a 15, that would make him an 11, and wisely, he's going to hold up at second. Not challenging the rifle arm of Johnny Callison. So a single by Pinson. The Reds are in business here in the first. First and second, one down, and here's Gordy Coleman. You know, in the first game, this is only the Reds' second game of the year. In the first game, there was something about Gordy Coleman that sounded familiar to me. And I'm not familiar with the card. It didn't ring a bell. And then when I looked him up, I realized, oh, of course. He was the Reds' broadcaster for many years after he quit playing. He finished playing in '67. And he broadcasted for the Reds until his passing in 1994. So that's where I know him from, as a Reds broadcaster. Anyway, he was their first baseman here. He had 2 really nice years. This was not one of them, however. 251 with 7 homers. Anyway, he's standing in there from the left side. Culp in a bit of a jam here. Here's his pitch. On a 3-8, that's a ground ball to first. That's going to be White. He goes down to Wine. They get the force there. Back to first, not in time. So that'll be a 3-6 force. Rose is going to take third on the play. Coleman to first. So runners on the corners and 2 down. And here's Darren Johnson. Again, a player I remember Johnson mostly as a Philly. But he was a Red in '66. So here's Darren trying to pick up a run here. First and third, 2 down. And here's the pitch. It's a 2-8. That's going to be a tapper down to short. Wine charging, throws on the run in time, and that will retire the side. So for Cincinnati, no runs, 2 hits, they leave a pair. And we're going to the bottom of the first. Reds nothing, Phillies coming to bat. Maloney getting ready now. Briggs will lead it off for the Phillies. And yeah, I might as well mention this now. This coming Tuesday, I had the honor of being a guest on Jeffrey Guterman's Strat-O-Matic network. I guess it's the Strat-O-Matic Sports Network now, if I have that correctly. And that was on Friday evening, and he invited me to play a game with him. So on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to join Jeffrey on his channel for a live game of his 1969 replay. I'll be managing the San Francisco Giants against his Philadelphia Phillies. So put that on your calendar. That should be a lot of fun. Okay, bottom of the bottom of the first. It's Briggs leading off, left-handed batter. Maloney's set now, gets the sign from Pavletic, and here's the pitch. On a 5-5, that's going to be a base hit into right field for Briggs, and Briggs has a leadoff single here. Briggs, decent speed. They're not going to try anything cute with Dick Allen at the plate. And here's the aforementioned Allen. A lot of power. Maloney from the stretch. Here's the pitch. On a 6-2, that's going to be a fly ball to left field X. That's going to be Johnson. He's a 4-6. So not many errors, but somewhat limited range. Here's the roll on the play. On a 1, that's going to be bad news. That gets past Johnson, rattles around in the corner. Here comes Briggs. Briggs rounding third. Briggs going to come to the plate. The throw coming in. Allen's in with a triple, and Briggs scores, and the Phillies jump out to a 1-0 lead. Oh, my. So a triple by Dick Allen. Allen smoked that one into the corner. Really, Johnson didn't have much of a chance on that play. And here's Bill White now, the National League RBI leader with 7. And he's got a man on third and nobody out. Cincinnati's going to bring the infield in. They're already down by 1. Here comes the pitch to White. On a 4-5, swung on and missed, strike 3. Maloney comes in with the heat, and down goes Bill White, and there's 1 down. And that'll bring up Johnny Callison. Callison also a left-handed hitter. We've already seen the effect of his throwing arm in the first inning, the top of the first inning. Infield in still, 1 away. Maloney stares in to get his sign now, and here's the pitch to Callison. On a 5-6, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Maloney getting tough with the runner on third. There's 2 away. The Reds can move the infield back now, and here's John Hernstein. Hernstein, a left-handed batter, a weak, and a 1-13 runner. This was the closest nameless card I could find to match his computer card from that year, and the only exception that will be made is he'll be treated like a weak against an end pitcher. In other words, on the 211, 212 possible home run chance of split, 1-7, 212, those home runs will be changed to double asterisk singles to more accurately reflect Hernstein's card from that year. On the computer card, of course. So here's Hernstein now. 2 down, a runner on third. Maloney set. As he comes to the plate on a 4-11, that's going to be a tapper down to first. Coleman's got it. He flips to Maloney covering, and that will do it. But the Phillies pick up a run on 2 hits. Dick Allen's triple. They leave Allen at third, however. At the end of an inning, it's Phillies 1, Reds nothing. Another cloudy day in Spokane. A bit warmer today, about 52 out there, but still cloudy and windy. A good indoor day. Good day for Strat-O-Matic, but then what isn't? Or when isn't it, I should say. And welcome, Trent Smith. Glad you could join us. Hope your day is going well, sir. So the Reds getting set to bat here in the top of the second. They're going to send up Pavletic, Cardenas, and Helms. Culp, he's ready to work now as he gets his sign from Dalrymple. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 5-9, swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes Pavletic, and there's 1 away. Leo Cardenas, a fine fielding shortstop. The Reds had a nice defensive double play combo that year with Cardenas and Helms. Culp gets his sign. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch. On a 6-12, that's going to be a ground ball to second base X. That'll be Rojas, a fine defensive second baseman in his own right, a 2E15. And here's the roll on the play. On an 8, that's going to be to the error range. So a 15 on an 11. And he makes the play. Nice play by Rojas. And there's 2 down. And here's Tommy Helms now, the right-handed hitting second baseman. Culp comes set. Here's the windup. The pitch to Helms is a 4-4 against the right-hander. That's a grounder to short X. That's going to be Wine. Another slick fielder, a 2E22. Wine into the hole. Here's the play. He's got it. Plants, throws across in time. Nice play by Wine, and that will retire the side. So 1, 2, 3 go the Reds against Culp. We go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0 Phillies. Culp looking pretty good out there so far. Maloney getting set to work in the bottom of the inning. Well, he's finishing his warm-up, so I'll sneak in a little sip of coffee. Good to keep those vocal cords warm, too, with this crud I've been dealing with. It'll be Dalrymple, Rojas, and Wine for the Phillies as we move along to the bottom of the second. Maloney's set now, gets the sign from Pavletic. Here's the pitch to Dalrymple on a 3-7. That's a single on a 1, but that's going to be a soft liner that will find its way into the glove of Tommy Helms. And there's one down. Here's Rojas now, right-handed hitting second baseman. As you can see on his card, he played a multiple amount of positions that year. Left, center, right, short. Primarily a second baseman, though, and that's what he's playing today as he stands in against Maloney. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 1-4, it's a pop-up right side. Coleman in foul territory, drifting over now, and he puts it away. And there's 2 down. Here's Bobby Wine, light-hitting, slick-fielding glove man at short. Maloney with the sign, and here's the pitch to Wine. On a 1-8, swung on and missed strike 3. And down goes Bobby Wine. A 1-2-3 inning from Maloney. That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Maloney. And after 2 complete here in Philadelphia, it's Phillies 1, Reds nothing. As Culp gets ready to work in the 3rd inning, it'll be Maloney and then the top of the order, Harper and Rose. Culp set now. Sign from Dalrymple. He winds and the pitch. On a 3-12, that's going to be a pop-up on the left side. Wine calling for it. He's there and makes the play for the out. And here's Tommy Harper now, a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. Culp shakes one off now. Now he nods. He's got one he likes. He goes into the windup, and here's the pitch to Harper. On a 6-11, that's going to be a fly ball to center, fairly shallow. Briggs coming in on it now, but he's there. And he'll put it away for the 2nd out of the inning. That'll bring up Pete Rose. Rose singled in the 1st, batting lefty, switch hitter, and here's the pitch from Cole. On a 6-4, that'll be a fly ball to center field X. That's going to be Briggs. Briggs a 3-9. So a fly ball, left center gap, Briggs ranging over on a 16, and he's there to make the catch for the out. So a pop-up to short, a couple of fly balls to John Briggs, and the Reds go down 1-2-3 in the 3rd. Thank you, sir. You humble me. I appreciate that. Just an old man having fun. That's really what it is. Let's just be honest about it. Here is Maloney now. He's ready to go. Culp will lead off for the Phillies and then back to the top of their order. Culp, a right-handed hitter. Here's Maloney's pitch on a 1-11. Swung on and missed strike 3. Culp fans on 3 hard ones by Maloney. He didn't have much of a chance there, let's face it. So Culp overmatched by the blazing fastball of Jim Maloney. And here's John Briggs now. Briggs singled to lead off the first for the Phillies. Came around to score the only run of the ball game so far. And here's the windup. The pitch from Maloney on a 1-7. Swung on and missed strike 3. Oh my goodness. And for for Maloney, that's his 5th. Excuse me, for Maloney. Dick Allen up now. Allen, of course, tripled in the first, driving in the game's only run so far. 2 down. Maloney struck out the last 3 batters consecutively. Here's his windup and pitch to Allen. On a 6-9, he swung on and missed strike 3, and Maloney strikes out the side, and he struck out 4 in a row. So down go the Phillies in the 3rd. After 3 complete, it's Philadelphia 1, Cincinnati 0. Oh my goodness, Maloney was bringing some serious stuff in that inning. Culp hanging with him, though. In fact, Culp's ahead of him, 1-0. And the Reds will send up the heart of the order. Pinson, Coleman, and Johnson. In the top of the 4th, a 1-0 ball game, another tense pitching battle. No, I'm still on coffee, Trent. Normally I go to tea at 1 o'clock, but I had some coffee left, and I thought I needed a little extra. You know what I mean? A little extra energy. I don't know, maybe I have too much energy. But the way I felt the last 3 weeks, I'll take it. No question about it. Okay, top of the 4th, 1-0 Phils. Here's Pinson to lead things off. Culp into the windup. The pitch to Pinson is a 3-10 against a righty. He's going to fly it into left field towards the line. Hernsting drifting over now, and he'll put that away. And there's 1 down. Gordy Coleman, first baseman, left-handed batter. 0 for 1 today, bounced to first base in the first inning. And here's Culp, the windup. The pitch to Coleman on a 3-11. That's going to be a tapper down to second base. Rojas charging, scoops, throws on the run, and he's in time for the out. Coleman's slow runner. Rojas had plenty of time on that one. And quickly there's 2 away here in the 4th. And that'll bring up Darren Johnson. Johnson bounced to short in the first inning. Culp, the windup and the pitch. On a 3-8. He gets a fly ball in medium deep center. Briggs ranging over, and he's got it for the out. So a 1-2-3 inning for Culp. He sets him down in order. In fact, Culp has retired 11 batters in a row now and leads 1-0 as we move along to the bottom of the 4th. So Culp and Maloney locked in a hell of a duel here to this point. For the Phillies, it'll be the heart of the order. White, Callison, and Hernsteen. Although I'm not really quite clear on what Hernsteen was doing in the heart of the order, but I don't make the lineups. This is Gene Mock's lineup. Here's the pitch from Maloney now to Bill White. On a 1-10, that's going to be a foul ball behind the plate. Pavletic drifting back. He's there and makes the catch. And that'll bring up Johnny Callison. Callison struck out in the first. Maloney, the sign from Pavletic, and here's the pitch. On a 6-2 to the lefty, that'll be a fly ball to left field X. That's going to be Johnson again. He's a 4-6. Johnson ranging. Here's the roll on the play on a 2, and oh my goodness, he's not going to get to that one. That's going to drop in. Gets to the wall for a double. So that's a double for Callison. I paused for a minute there because I was picturing Darren Johnson as a Philly. I can't get that image out of my mind. So a 1-out double for Johnny Callison, and that'll bring up Hernsteen. Hernsteen bounced out to first in the first inning. Maloney a glance back at second. Now comes set, and here's the pitch to Hernsteen. On a 5-11, that's going to be a grounder to first base X. That's going to be Coleman. He's a 4E24. This could be an adventure. Here's the roll on a 10. That's the error frequency. On a 24, the roll is a 3. And he indeed boots it. That's going to be an error on Coleman. So that'll go E3. Callison takes third on the play. Now for Cincinnati, their first error. And the Phillies are in business here in the bottom of the fourth. Runners at the corners and one out. And here comes Clay Dalrymple. Dalrymple hit it hard in the second inning, but lined out to second base. Maloney checks his runners now. Let's check Hernstein. I don't think he can run. He's 1 through 13, but no threat to steal. So he will not be held on. How are they going to play this? First and third, one out. They'll be back. The Reds will be at double play depth. And here's the pitch from Maloney. On a 4-7, swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Dalrymple. Maloney piling up the Ks now. That's 7. And here's Cookie Rojas with 2 away. Runners at the corners. This is a good opportunity for the Phillies to add on here. Maloney checks his runner. Comes set, and from the stretch, the pitch to the plate. It's going to be a 1-6. Oh my goodness, homer to 1, but that's just going to be a deep fly ball to left. Johnson fading back now, but he's there and makes the catch for the out. So no runs, a hit, 2 left on. And at the end of 4 complete, it's still 1-0 Phillies. Phil's won 87 and 66. Yes, indeed. The basic chart's a strange animal, Trent. It really is. I'm doing a 74 Dodger replay, and those were the original 74 cards before they added the error rating. So I have no choice but to use it, and it's pretty odd at times. All right, 1-0 as we go to the 5th. Culp's only allowed 2 hits in this game. And as I mentioned previously, has retired the last 11 batters in a row. He'll be facing Pavletic, Cardenas, and Helms here as he gets the sign from Dalrymple. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 2-3, that's going to be a base hit up the middle into center field for Pavletic. So a leadoff single for the Reds here. Pavletic very slow. He will not have to be held on. And here comes Leo Cardenas. Cardenas bounced out to second in the second inning. Culp checks his runner now. From the stretch, the pitch to Cardenas. On a 5-5, swung on and missed strike 3. Oh my, and down goes Cardenas. He walks away shaking his head a little bit. And here's Helms. Helms bounced out to shortstop in the second inning. That was a tough play, actually. That was a good play by Wine. Culp now checks his runner. Here's the pitch to him. 5-4 against the right-hander. That's a ground ball to third base, X. That's going to be Dick Allen. Allen, a 3E16. Here's the roll on the play. On a 16. Allen's there. He stabs it and throws him out. Oh, wait a second now. There's only one away. Allen stabs it. I beg your pardon. Allen stabs it. Down to Rojas, back to first. That's a double play. 3 on a roll of a 16. Yes, sirree. That is a double play. That goes 5-4-3, and that will retire the side. So no runs, a hit, no one left, erased on the double play. Fine play by Dick Allen. And that'll do it for Cincinnati in the 5th. All right, Phillies come to bat in the bottom of the fifth, leading 1-0. It'll be Wine, Culp, and Briggs due up. Maloney gets the sign from Pavletic, the windup. Here's the pitch to Bobby Wine now on a 2-5 against the righty. Struck him out. He caught the outside corner on that one, and Wine doesn't like it. Wine shaking his head a bit. He walks away, mumbling, and here comes Culp. Culp struck out in the third. Maloney, the windup. The pitch to Culp on a 3-11. Culp hits a fly ball into shallow center. Harper ranging over. He's got it, and quickly there's 2 away here in the fifth. And that'll bring up John Briggs. Briggs is 1 for 2 today. As I mentioned before, he scored the only run of the game so far. Maloney gets his sign. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch. On a 1-8, towering fly ball deep to right field. Back goes Pinson to the track, to the wall. Home run, Johnny Briggs. Oh my God, and the Phillies are up 2-0. Let's look at that again. 1-8, homer to 14, the rolls a 3, and Briggs clocks that one into the right field seats. Oh my. Now I'll bring up Dick Allen. He drove in the other run of the game with a triple. Maloney, visibly shaken. He's walking around behind the mound now, muttering to himself. Now he's back on top. He nods to Pavletic, gets the sign, the windup and the pitch to Dick Allen. On a 4-8, swung on and missed strike 3. So he regroups and strikes out Dick Allen to end the inning, but not before the Phillies add another one on a towering Johnny Briggs home run. Oh my goodness, so the Phillies are up 2-0 after 5. And I'm going to start another cup here. I'm going to do a 1 cup. Don't worry, that'll only take a few seconds. Holy cow. So Briggs excited the home crowd with that blast. There's still a buzz in the stadium as we move along to the top of the 6th. Culp's only allowed 3 hits in this game and now has a 2-run lead. And it'll be Maloney. This is one of the tough things for me in playing in the 1960s. If this were 2018 or 2022, you would absolutely send up a pinch hitter right here. But I'm of the mind that the pitchers in this era went as long as they could, and only trailing by 2 and pitching well, Maloney's going to bat here. So Culp facing Maloney. Maloney's a left-handed batter, by the way, kind of unusual for a right-handed pitcher. But here he is standing in from the left side, and on a 6-8, he hits a grounder down to second base X. That's going to be Rojas. Rojas, a 2E15. I'm sorry. No, that's right. He is a 2E15. That's behind the bag on a 5. And oh my goodness, what a play by Cookie Rojas. He scoops it behind the bag, whirls, and throws in the air in time. So that'll go 4-3X, and we're even going to put an exclamation point by that one. That was a tremendous play by Cookie Rojas. Granted, Maloney not a fast runner, so that helped him out a little bit. But nonetheless, a great play by Rojas, and there's one down here. Back to the top of the order, it'll be Tommy Harper now for Cincinnati. Harper winds and deals, and here's the pitch on a 1-2, and he hits Harper. Oh my God. Harper hit by the pitch. And down to first he goes. That one just got away from Culp. There's no way he'd be throwing at anyone here with a 2-run lead. Harper taking his time going down there, though. Nobody likes to be hit by the pitched ball. Harper, with blazing speed, will have to be held on, and Culp with a terrible hold. So this could be an issue. You got a +6 for Culp. The catcher's a -2, so that's 4. 19. Held on, the most it can be is 19. Held on, Harper's a 1 through 17. And with 1 out, he's going to attempt to establish the good lead. He needs a 2 through 5 or an 11. He's got the 11. 1 through 17. The pitch to Rose. There goes Harper. The throw by Dalrymple. And he's got him. Oh my goodness. Dalrymple throws Tommy Harper out at second base. So caught stealing Tommy Harper. And that's 2 away. What a throw by Dalrymple. I thought he had it stolen. Quick release, and it got down there in a hurry. Harper can't believe it himself as he walks back to the dugout. And now we've got 2 down and nobody on. And here's Culp's next offering to Pete Rose. On a 4-11 to the left-hander. High fly ball into deep right field. Back goes Callison to the track, to the wall, and that is gone. Home run, Pete Rose. Wow, let's look at that again. 4-11. Rose is an end power. Let's look. How many home runs did he hit that year? Rose hit 16 home runs that year. Wow. That kind of surprises me a little bit. So on a 4-11, left-handed batter, sure enough, Rose launches one into the right field seats, and that makes it 2-1. And how big was that caught stealing now? Oh my God. That could have been a 2-run blast. And here's Pinson now. Dalrymple out to the mound. The Phillies will get some activity going in the bullpen. See, they used Jackson and Ridzik. The Phillies are going to get Fergie Jenkins up in the bullpen. How about that? He did not pitch in this game in real life. But all I have is nameless cards for Jackson and Ridzik, and that's kind of like giving up, and we're not going to do that. We're going to do the best we can here. The Philly bullpen as a whole here, other than Darryl Knowles, Wise pitched in starting and relief that year. Herbert's not bad, but they don't have a whole lot down there. That will change, of course, after they make the Fergie Jenkins trade with the Cubs on April 21st. And yes, sir, Fergie's warming. Here's Pinson now. 2 down, nobody on. 2-1 Phillies. Culp from the windup, and here's the pitch to Pinson. On a 4-9. Deep fly ball to left field. Oh, my God. And Callison just turns around and watches that one. That thing's halfway up the seats, and we got a tie ball game. Holy crap. Let's look at that again. 4-9. Left-handed batter, and that is way back and gone. And Vada Pinson has just tied this game up with a home run. And here comes Gene Mauch, and that's going to do it for Culp. So Culp, brilliant for 5 innings. Just seemed to run out of gas here in the 6th. He is an endurance 6. So Culp goes 5 2/3. He gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, back-to-back homers by Pete Rose and Vada Pinson. He did not walk a single batter. And he struck out 3. And I figured since in 4 days, or 5 days, this is the 16th of April, in 5 days, Jenkins is going to be traded to the Cubs anyway. So he might as well come in and relieve for the Phillies while they've still got him. That's what I'm thinking. It's kind of fun. So the Phillies, to recap, took a 2-0 lead into this inning. Maloney tapped out. Harper was hit by the pitch but was erased on the caught stealing. And then Rose and Pinson struck with back-to-back home runs. And I'm going to grab that other cup that should be ready. This will only take a few seconds. Okay, there we go. That's good. That's the pod coffee, which is not as good as my drip coffee, but sometimes when you only want one cup, it does the job. So we've got Jenkins coming in here. Fergie that year, 8-8, 3.32, 12 starts, 5 saves, 184 innings of work. Fergie, of course, would go on to become probably one of the best and most famous pitchers in Chicago Cub history. And then he had a 20-some win season with the Texas Rangers later. So here's Coleman now. Tie ball game. Nobody on. 2 down. Jenkins is ready to work now. Gets the sign from Dalrymple. Here's the windup in the pitch. On a 6-4, it's a fly to center field X. That's Briggs. Briggs, a 3-E9. Here's the roll on the play. On a 20, Briggs makes an easy catch there. Puts it away. That will retire the side. So that goes 8X. But the Reds come up with 2 runs to tie it on the home runs by Rose and Pinson. We go to the bottom of the 6th, all knotted up at 2. Oh, what a game, huh? Strat-O-Matic, man. I'm not sure quite how they build the drama into the dice, but it sure seems to work out that way more often than not. Oh, sure, you get your blowouts now and then. And Jeffrey calls him Fergs. And indeed, Culp just ran out of elephant juice. Oh, excuse me. Okay, Maloney now in a tie ball game. He'll be facing the heart of the Philly order, White, Callison, and Hernstein. We might even hit for Hernstein. We'll see how it goes. So it's Bill White, the National League RBI leader, to lead things off here. Maloney, the windup and the pitch. On a 4-11, that's a tapper down to first base. Coleman's got it, flips to Maloney covering for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Johnny Callison. Callison 1 for 2 today, doubled back in the 4th. Maloney, the windup, the pitch to Callison on a 1-6. Single to 6. Oh my God, it's a liner speared by Coleman on a 12. So 2 plays to Coleman, and with 2 down, we'll go ahead and let Hernstein have one more at bat. Maloney, the windup, the pitch to Hernstein on a 5-6. Swung on and missed strike 3. See, I should have pinch hit for him. So 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies in the 6th. After 6 complete, it's a 2-2 tie. Jenkins coming back out. He'll face Johnson, Pavletic, and Cardenas here in the 7th. Darren Johnson stepping in now from the right side. Jenkins ready. Here's the pitch from Fergie. That's going to be a 2-10 against the right-hander. That's a grounder down to second base. Rojas coming in on that now. Gets it on the hop and throws him out. So Johnson retired on a ground ball to second. And here's Pavletic now. Pavletic 1 for 2 today. Fergie, he's got the sign from Dalrymple. Here's the pitch. On a 4-8, and that's ball 4. No, on a 4-8 right-hander. I beg your pardon. He strikes him out. Let's check that again. 4-8 strikeout. So Pavletic down on strikes, and with 2 outs, it'll be Cardenas. Cardenas 0 for 2 today. Fergie's got his sign, the windup. The pitch to Cardenas on a 6-10, a grounder to short X. That's Bobby Wine. Wine's pretty sure-handed down there as the ball goes into the hole. Wine moves to plug it up. He does. Plants, throws in time, and that will retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Fergie. We go to the bottom of the 7th, still tied at 2 apiece. Oh, the tension is mounting. Can you feel it? God, I sure can. Maloney in S7. We're in the 7th inning now. This is the first inning of possible fatigue for Maloney. Maloney, though, showing really no signs of fatiguing to this point, and he'll be facing Dalrymple, Rojas, and Wine here. Dalrymple, left-handed hitter. He's 0 for 2 today as Maloney winds and deals. The pitch is a 6-5 to the left-hander, and that's a deep fly ball to right field. Back goes Pinson to the wall. That's off the wall. Pinson rounding. He's going to go into second with a stand-up. Dalrymple rounding. He's going to go into second with a stand-up double. Pinson, of course, was in right field. So let's look at that again. 6-5. Left-hander homer to 6, 19. That's a double to right. Off the wall. Dalrymple in standing as Pinson gets the ball back in. So the Phillies have something going here in the bottom of the 7th. Here comes Cookie Rojas, 0 for 2. No one throwing yet in the Cincinnati pen. Maloney checks his runner. Now comes to the plate. The pitch to Rojas at 2-12, and he hits him. Oh, my goodness. So Rojas drilled by the pitch. He goes down to first. And the Phillies are in business here. If you're thinking bunt, Wine's a C. Might not be a bad idea. Then they'd have to pinch hit. Boy, this is tough. This is always tough for me, these kind of decisions here, because I'm trying to be fair to both teams. Okay, if I were the Reds, those are the tying runs. I'm going to play the infield in to protect against the bunt. So Cincinnati will bring the infield in. Now, under those situations, if I'm the Phillies, I'm going to swing away with the infield in, hope to like hell to avoid the double play, and then have Jenkins lay one down. So Wine's going to swing away with the infield in. Here's the pitch on a 5-11. That's a grounder to first base X. This could be interesting. That's Coleman, a 4-E-24. Here's the roll on the play. On a 2. That's going to be a single with a 2-base advance. That gets past Coleman. Fortunately, it's backed up by Pinson, but by that time, Dalrymple comes in to score. Rojas is into third on an RBI single by Bobby Wine, and that play works out perfectly for the Phillies. So with the infield in, Wine slaps the ball through the right side. Dalrymple comes in to score. Rojas charges into third. And now the Reds will have to play the infield in again. Fergie, a B bunter. That would make him a C. Here's the pitch. Fergie's going to try to lay one down. That's going to be a 7 on a C, and a perfect sacrifice bunt by Fergie. And Bobby Wine takes second. We're going to score that 2-3. Sacrifice hit. Ferguson Jenkins. Another favorite of mine, if you haven't figured that out by now. Jenkins was actually a 6 hitting card, so I neglected to change that. However, that did not affect the play, as his bunt rating is still a B. But I will make the change in case I make that mistake again. Okay. So that's the first out of the inning. Second and third now. One down. Briggs due up. Dick Allen in the on-deck circle. And that's 2 hits and a hit by pitch, and now the Reds are going to have to get somebody up. And they're going to get Ted Davidson loose, a left-hander. Right now it'll be Maloney versus Briggs. Second and third, one down. Infield in still. Maloney, the pitch to Briggs. On a 3-8, ball 4, he loses him, and that will fatigue Maloney. So Maloney runs out of gas here. Here comes Don Hefner, and he's bringing the hook. Here's Davidson. Yeah, what they really need is a right-hander here before Davidson. Okay, I take that back. It's going to be Jack Balshin. Let's get caught up here first. Balshin will come in to pitch to Dick Allen. Then most likely Davidson will come on. For Maloney, 6 1/3. He allowed 6 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. My goodness. 10 Ks for Maloney. Balshin, who I talked about at length in a previous game, he was near the tail end of his career by this point. They don't have much to choose from the right side. So it's going to be Balshin pitching to Dick Allen with the bases loaded and 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Phillies leading 3-2, and they're looking to bust this game open right here. And that will be, oh my goodness, Balshin. Well, Jeffrey, absolutely. It would be a pleasure, sir, to have you manage the Phillies through live chat. All right, folks, a first here on the Aqualung channel here. Jeffrey Guterman has volunteered to come on here and try to bring this one home for the Phillies. Bases loaded, 1 down, Dick Allen at the plate. I'm pretty sure Dick Allen's going to be hitting away in this situation. For the Reds, they're going to play the infield back now. They're looking for the ground ball to try to get out of this. As Balshin, from the stretch, comes to the plate on a 6-9, and that's a deep ball to left field. That's way back. That's going to be off the wall for a double. That's going to score at least 2 runs. Rojas scores. Wines scores. Briggs can try to score. That's to center field where Harper's a +1. Briggs a 1 through 14. He's a 1 through 15. With 1 down and White up, I would say hold him up. There's no sense running into an out here. They're on a roll. So Briggs is going to hold up at third on a 2 RBI double by Dick Allen. Allen comes through again. That's 3 RBIs for him today. And it's 5-2 Philadelphia. And that'll be it for Balshin. He had one job to do and failed to do it. One hit. That closes the book on Maloney. All 5 charged to Maloney, who was blazing along, striking out everybody. And they're going to go to Ted Davidson, the left-hander now. So with White and Callison due up, White, the National League RBI leader, situation is 2nd and 3rd, still only 1 away. 5-2 Phillies, bottom of the 7th. And now the Reds will have to pull the infield back in again. And here's Bill White. Davidson, let's look at his numbers here for a minute. 3.90 in 85 innings of relief. He had 4 saves. Okay, here we go. Infield in. 2nd and 3rd, 1 away. Davidson, the pitch to White. A 3-6. He struck him out. Oh my, down goes White. That's a huge out for Cincinnati. But they're not out of the woods yet, as up to the plate strides Johnny Callison. 1 for 3 today with a double. Davidson gets his sign from Pavletic. Here's the pitch to Johnny Callison. It finally stops rolling on a 3-10, and that's a base hit to center, open. That's going to score at least 1. Briggs will score. Allen can try to score. Okay, that's to center with 1 out. Harper's a +1. Dick Allen a 15. That makes Dick Allen a 1 through 16 to the plate. Jeffrey? No, you are right. I closed the book on Maloney too early there. I beg your pardon. Send him. Yeah, that's what I would do. Send him. Allen rounding 3rd. Here comes the throw from Harper. He hits the cutoff man, Helms, perfectly. And he's in there, the skin of his teeth on a 15. Oh my God, so that's a 2 RBI base hit for Callison, and the Phillies have blown this game wide open here in the bottom of the 7th, and the fans are going crazy. 7-2 now is the score. And the Phillies will bat around, and they're going to hit for Hernstein. We're going to find another left fielder here, preferably one who's better on defense. Let's go to the Philly bench and see what they have. Tony Gonzalez is a fine defensive left fielder. There's Bob Uecker. Jackie Brandt's even better. That's who it's going to be. Jackie Brandt is going to bat for Hernstein and stay in the game in left field. He is a 2E5 -2 out there, so a vast improvement on Hernstein. I didn't leave a lot of room to write him in, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So the Phillies have batted around here in the 7th. They've plated 5 already. They got a man on first. 2 down. And here's Brandt batting for Hernstein. Davidson, the windup and the pitch. It's a 6-7 grounder to second base X. That'll be Helms. Helms a 2E16. Here's the roll on the play. On a 9, that's the error range. We've got a roll of a 7 on a 16. And Helms makes the play to retire the side. But the Phillies plate 5 huge runs here in the bottom of the 7th, and they blow this game wide open. After 7 complete, it's Philadelphia 7, Cincinnati 2. Jackie Brown, as mentioned, will remain in the game and play left field. Jenkins, a 4-rated reliever for endurance. He's going to stay in. He's only gone 1 1/3. Let's see who was the Philly closer that year. Who got all their saves? Not that they need it. Well, it would be Darryl Knowles, of course. Right now, it's Fergie's game. Well, it's a good move, don't you think? The defensive move. Jeffrey says he didn't okay that defensive move. But I kind of want to get the Hernstein nameless card out of there. Plus, as a left-handed batter, he is basically worthless against Davidson. And the Phillies improved their outfield defense at the same time. So here's Helms now to lead off the 8th for Cincinnati, now trailing 7-2 as Fergie Jenkins goes into the windup. Here's the pitch to Helms, a 2-3 against the righty. He taps it down to first. That's Bill White, as sure-handed as they come. He'll take it to the bag himself. And now the Reds will have to have a pinch hitter for Davidson. So the other run charged to Balshin. He gave up a hit. That's all for him. Davidson, two-thirds of an inning. So he only faced 3 batters. He gave up a hit, struck out 1. That's it for him. Who's coming up for the Phillies? White, Callison. Jerry Arrigo is going to warm for the Reds. And they're going to go to the bench. They're going to bring up Lee May to pinch hit for the pitcher. May and Perez were just coming up around this time. In fact, that was kind of what cost Gordy Coleman his job. He was being pressed for playing time by both May and Perez. And that's just too much competition for just about anybody. So here's Lee May now, 1 down. Fergie. He's got the sign now. Lee May the batter, the windup and the pitch. That's going to be a 1-5. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Fergie fans Lee May, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Tommy Harper. Harper, the right-handed batter. The windup and the pitch. It's a 6-8. That's a grounder down to third. A tapper, Dick Allen coming in on that, and he throws him out. 3 up, 3 down for Fergie. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-2 Philadelphia. And yes, indeedly, Fergie perfect in relief. He's retired all 7 batters he's faced. Davidson will come back out for Cincinnati. No, he will not. He was pinch hit for. Excuse me, what am I thinking there? Okay, for the Reds, as already mentioned, Arrigo coming on. Arrigo would be traded to the Mets during this season. And he'll be facing Dalrymple, Rojas, and Wine. If anybody gets on, Fergie Jenkins. We'll probably let Fergie hit. We'll let Jeffrey decide. Here is Dalrymple. Arrigo gets his sign. Lefty winds and deals. Lefty on lefty now on a 4-12. It's a grounder down to first. That's Coleman. He's got it. Takes it to the bag himself, and that's one down. And with one away, Cookie Rojas will be the hitter. Arrigo gets his sign from Pavletic, the windup. The pitch to Rojas, a 5-9. That's going to be a base hit into left field. 5-9 homer to 12, but Rojas is a weak. So that goes as a single for Cookie Rojas. And that'll bring up Bobby Wine with one away. Wine 1 for 3 today, drove in a run in that wild 7th. Arrigo from the stretch now. The pitch to Wine. That's a 5-7 to the right-hander, and that's going to be a base hit. Just the shortstop, Cardenas, gets a glove on it, but he has no play. Everybody's safe. That'll be a single for Wine. Rojas, of course, will hold up at second, and the Phillies have first and second and one out. And Ferguson Jenkins will be the hitter. And what does the manager say? Let him hit. Somehow I still got the wrong card. Fergie's a good hitting pitcher. Ferguson Jenkins, a 6 NR. He's a 6 hitting card with N power. A fine hitting pitcher. And here's the pitch from Arrigo. On a 6-10, it's a fly to left field, shallow. Johnson coming in, still coming, and he makes the catch. So I'm going to write that in. That was Jenkins at bat right there. And with 2 down, John Briggs will be the batter. Briggs has had quite a day. 2 for 3 with a walk. He homered back in the 5th. Runners on first and second, 2 away. Here's the pitch to Briggs. On a 2-9, swung on and missed strike 3. And down goes Briggs, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. At the end of 8 innings, it is 7-2 Phillies. Checking with the manager now. Any pitching or defensive substitutions? Or I imagine we're letting Fergie go for it, right? Rose, Pinson, and Coleman due up for the Reds as they trail 7-2 here in the 9th. Absolutely, he's going to pitch. Here's Pete Rose now. Pete 2 for 3 today. He hit a home run himself back in the 6th inning. Jenkins gets his sign from Dalrymple. Here's the windup, and the pitch to Pete Rose is a 2-6. That's a tapper down to short. Wine charging. He's got it on the run and throws him out. And there's 1 down. And here's Vada Pinson. Crowd on its feet now, cheering for Fergie as he comes set. The windup and the pitch to Vada Pinson. That's going to be a 6-2. That's a grounder to second base. Rojas has it. Easy play for Cookie. And the Reds are down to their last out. Fergie flawless in relief today. What is that? 6-7. Retired all 9 batters he faced. 9 up, 9 down. And here's Gordy Coleman, the last hope for the Reds. Fergie stares in to get the sign. The windup. The pitch to Coleman on a 5-10. It's a fly ball to right, and that's going to do it. Callison drifting a bit, and he's got it. And that's the ball game. So a tight game through 6. The Phillies blow it open in the 7th. And the final score is 7-2. 2 to 2. 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 2 3 1/3. So Ferguson Jenkins, you're absolutely right, Jeffrey. Ferguson Jenkins picks up the win in relief. Maloney takes the loss. Jenkins, oh my God, you can't do any better than that. 10 up and 10 down. He struck out a pair. What a performance by Ferguson Jenkins, a favorite of mine. And sure, why not? Ferguson Jenkins is the player of the game today. Let's see, I messed this up a bit. 6, 7, 8. Okay, no, I didn't. Arrigo pitched a 1 inning. 2 hits, no walks, a strikeout. So your totals now for the Phillies: 7 runs on 10 hits. They made no errors. The Reds, 2 runs on only 5 hits. They made an error. And that's your final here from Philadelphia, as the Phillies beat the Reds 7-2. And man, a tip of the cap again to Fergie Jenkins. Dick Allen with 3 RBIs, the offensive star. Briggs had a homer. Callison knocked in a pair. A good day for the Phillies. And Cope did a fine job. In fact, they couldn't touch him for 5 innings. He laid a couple of fat ones in there in the 6th. The homers by Rose and Pinson, representing the only scoring of the day for Cincinnati. So the Philly pitching was magnificent today. Let's check the records now. With the win, the Phillies go to an undefeated 4-0. The loss dropped Cincinnati to 0-2 on the season. Very young yet, very young in the 66 season. Boy, I want to thank you guys for joining me and my special guest, Jeffrey Guterman, who was kind enough to invite me on his show to play a game against him. Well, they're certainly off to a great start. Tomorrow, I'll be back at my normal 3 p.m. Pacific time slot, and that will be the St. Louis Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cardinals are 1-2, Pittsburgh's 2-1. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I want to give a special thanks to Jeffrey Guterman, who's been a great inspiration to me in the way he handles his broadcast. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's right there, Jeffrey Guterman. He does the best presentation on the web today, as far as I'm concerned. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do so. This is Steve, Spokane Steve Aquilon. Call me anything you want as long as it's not late for dinner, as my old man used to say. I'm going to get going now. I want to thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.